Welcome back to Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, joined by RJ. RJ, how are you tonight?
You know what, Matt? I am doing well tonight. Packers had a big win this weekend, so I'm always happy on a Monday after a Packers win.
At least you get a W. I apparently break streaks that I didn't think that would break, but hey, whatever. Thanks, RJ. We're joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. Lonnie, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm back. I about hit my quota before y'all kicked me out of the band, so I'm glad that I got back. And I also think that, and this is not Halloween reference, I honestly think my neighbors are vampires. They checked about 4 vampire boxes.
What are the
Wait,
Are they
boxes?
standing at the door like cornbread for you, or
Ish. Or the fact they don't turn lights on. They never get groceries. They never take out garbage. You never see them in daylight. I've invited them
I
out. I've seen them outside, and they won't let you. Like our garages face each other, and they won't walk into my garage. And I wonder if I actually invite them into my house, if they would actually then be able to cross that barrier.
are they Lost Boy vampires, Sinners vampires?
No, but I think one of them. You know what? We're not going to get into it. We're just going to move on because
I
I can
understand.
just say I can pick any neighbor at the moment because I know some of my neighbors actually know I'm on YouTube.
I understand.
problem is they all end up being Twilight vampires.
Mm, not great.
No,
I don't have a problem
glittery.
with them. Vampires are cool. I'm just saying. You know how you always have. Look, I live in this townhouse community where there's a lot of. Everybody has a story. Let's just leave it right there. But this is the true beginning of a horror comedy. It's like, you know what? Y'all might be body snatchers.
Mm,
It's like Kang and Kronos.
that's a solid reference, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Treehouse
We've
of Horror.
already derailed Matt.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go all in rice, we're also joined by Craig. Craig, how are you today?
I'm doing well. A little concerned that I need to send Lonnie a couple of dozen pounds of garlic. We'll get there.
I will cook the shit out of that garlic.
We actually just planted garlic for our fall garden, so we've got about 60 pounds in the ground right now.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Man, what else does Indiana grow?
Indiana doesn't grow anything, but my wife forces me to buy soil to do things. So,
No.
Now, do you go buy garlic bulbs or you just go to the grocery store and plan out?
oh no, we like get actual garlic bulbs. So we have, did you know that there are different types of garlic?
Lots of
Like,
different types of garlic.
I was about to say a naughty word about myself. But yeah, no, we have 7 different types of garlic. And I'm like, what's your plan for it? We're making garlic honey. We're making garlic confit. We're making all different types of garlic dishes. So we shall obviously smell fantastic. I'm so sorry, Matt.
This is why we need to do a live feed of the podcast as we're recording so people can hear the pre-show into the main show and just get more of this goodness before we hit record.
Wasn't that supposed to be a member perk at one point?
It probably is coming at some point when I can figure out the logistics.
We got to figure out a time because when we actually record this, there's not going to be a lot of people on the live stream.
That's why we
You
do it
would
as a
be
members.
surprised.
No, Matt and I have gone to almost midnight and had 35 people in the live. You would
Screw
I
be
it.
was
Let's
on
try it
amazed.
out.
I was on till 11 on Saturday by myself, and there was still like a good, yeah, 30 people.
Yeah,
Screw it. Let's try it out. Let's figure it out.
I have thoughts. We'll talk later.
All right. We've invoked vampires. We've invoked garlic, wild garlic. I'm surprised we can get into galangal. You know, before we go further down
There's black garlic, by the way.
there's
We
black
do
garlic.
have black garlic in
Yep.
the ground.
I feel
It's
like I have to represent.
my pigmented garlicky brothers.
That
I
one
don't
was
think
for
we're
RJ.
hopping that one for the title, guys.
Hating on garlic.
All right,
I'll get you,
so
RJ.
it seems that the podcast needs to enter Rhizomes Anonymous.
We're 10 minutes in.
We haven't even finished the intros yet.
I don't know who put a penny on the tracks this week, but y'all win. We're derailed.
We haven't even got
With a
to our
Chauncey Billups
topics.
head.
These viewers don't come for the topics. They come for this.
This is true. This is very true. All right, so before topics, we usually do our viewer questions. So let's jump into our viewer questions. Our first question comes from Jason, also known as Ladder Emoji, the great ladder emoji in the Stack Your Points Discord, which stackyourpoints.com, join the Discord, do the things. Have to do the shout out there. Jason asks, if credit card issuers moved toward requiring certain levels of spend per statement period in order to get the points for your transactions, which cards in your wallet would be the hardest to justify holding? Double Animal Fries also followed up with, and the easiest. So if you're required to hit a certain amount of spend in order to get your points for your transactions, what card in your wallet would be the hardest to justify holding? Lonnie.
All of them. Every single one. If it actually had to come down to that, I'm picking one card. I don't know what that card would be. Doesn't really matter. Whatever one card that just happens to be will be the best card. Because that would suck. That would suck. That would suck heavy. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to give at least an answer. So I'd have to say something like a Freedom Flex would be very hard to keep. Maybe the MX Platinum in my wallet would be hard to keep. Built's already out of my wallet. It just gets it 5 transactions at the moment. One of the easiest, and this is probably left field, this probably be the CSR. And it's only because travel portal benefits. So it'll be really easy to go down to one card, just use that one because I know I can burn those Chase UR points 12 different valuable ways.
Okay. Interesting answer there. Yeah, no, I can definitely see the rationale there. RJ, easiest to justify, hardest to justify if you had to have a spend limit.
So it depends on what the spend limit is. Like that ultimately is gonna matter. If it's $1,000 a month, that's very different than if it's $100 a month, right? Like just saying there's a spend limit doesn't actually tell me what I'm having to do. And a lot of my cards I keep for the perks. If I'm still gonna get my 2,500 MQDs on both my Delta cards, then I don't have to spend $1 on them to get that, right? That's just part of the card. So I would keep them even though I don't actually put a lot of spend through them. So cards like that are safe even though they don't get a lot of spend. Probably if I were to have to pinpoint a card, it would be either the Cash Plus or the Shopper's Cash. Because sometimes I'll buy one thing from Walmart a month, right? Sometimes I'll buy many more than one thing from Walmart in a month. It depends on sort of what's going on in my household. So that could be a feast or famine moment, right? That could either be I'm getting $1 back or I'm getting $30 back that month. So if it was I have to spend $1,000 a month on that card to get whatever I'm getting back, not worth it, right? Like that just wouldn't be functionally worth it. So it matters where that limit is. If the limit's at $100, then there's not a card in my wallet that I can't put $100 on. But if it's 1,000, then we have problems. So it really is going to depend on where that limit is. If it's the bill of just 5 transactions, any transactions, please give us transactions, then whatever. So that to me is the rub there. For easiest card, Blue Business Plus, green. Like when I go out, dining is a key category, so the green is actually really easy because it's 3x. So it is a very easy card for me personally, but that spend limit, the dollar amount for that spend limit is going to matter for that question a lot.
All right, no, that certainly makes sense. Craig.
So, to no one's surprise, anything that has anything to do with groceries is going to be the easiest card to justify my wallet. So, right now, take your pick of City Strata Premier, which I don't fully trust yet, but we're getting there. It's like a foster dog. We're got to warm up to it. Amex Gold, easy enough. For me, the most difficult cards to justify my wallet are now essentially any Capital One card. I just don't find particular use in those point systems anymore. Love JLL or Japan Airlines, but I am, even with the reduced travel, swimming in AA miles. So, no need for that there. Realistically, I'm only going to have two categories that I'm consistently hitting. So that's going to be other and groceries. So take your pick for me. It could be the Blue Business Plus. It could be the hopefully soon City Double Cash, and then insert blank CSP or Amex Gold. For me, I'm realizing, especially over the next 12-ish months, we are doing just so much less travel. So our spending habits are just vastly changing, both from a work and from a personal standpoint. So much of the setup that I've had previously just kind of already is out of my wallet. At least from a spend perspective, most of the cards I have are truly just benefit cards, or to Lonnie's point, subscriptions.
No, got it. Yeah, I mean, given the open-endedness of the question, I can definitely see where RJ comes from and where everyone else is coming from, where, if it moves to requiring a certain level of spend, if that spend is relatively easy, most cards would be significantly easier to justify, right? But if you have something like a premium card that would require, if my Sapphire Reserve suddenly won't allow me to get or transfer chase points without spending $2,000 a month through that card, yeah, that card's virtually impossible to maintain. Yes, I put, all told, there's a few thousand per month put through cards, but it's not all put through the Sapphire Reserve. So if it's a case of, you have to spend X that large an amount on the Sapphire Reserve, yeah, I can't make the Sapphire Reserve work. And the same would be true if it's, regardless of card co-brand, if it is a card with a, say, $450+ annual fee, because I want to go down and grab the Ritz-Carlton card just to be safe. If any card above 450 required, $2,000 a month to spend on the card to maintain it, all those cards become virtually impossible to hold. Not because you necessarily can't put $2,000 a month on it. It's going to be a question of putting it on the right one, right? If you are really into Amex and you're really into Amex points, you have to put $2,000 through the platinum card to maintain the platinum card. That's a tall ask, right? Same would be true with the Sapphire Reserve. Same would be true with Adventure X. Same would be true with the Ritz card. If the spend limit was, that would be really hard to justify holding, especially for those of us especially for folks who are on the churning side of things. If you're raison d'etre, like FOMO likes to open up a new card every couple of weeks. If you've got to put an additional $2,000 in spend in all of his premium cards on a premium card, you can't really go sub hunting that much unless you are worth much more than most people in the game typically are worth. So
the question is more about in order to get your points, not keep the card. It seems like you can keep the card. You just, if you don't spend $2,000, that 1,999 is either going to generate no points or 1x. That's how I read the question.
yeah, no,
Not you're going to close the card.
no, I'm not saying that they would close the card, but if Chase came out with a new term sheet for the Sapphire Reserve, and the Sapphire Reserve term sheet was you can't transfer out your points. You can't earn points or transfer out your points unless you put $2,000 a month through the Sapphire Reserve. That card is virtually impossible to hold.
But transferring out your points is not the same as earning points. I guess that's where my brain is having a split with what you're saying.
Either way, if you don't start earning points after $2,000 until $2,000 in spend, until 2001.
No, I was a bit confused by the answer, so I wanted to make sure I was on the same page with you. That's all.
Oh, okay. What I'm saying is if all the premium cards had that, everything up to 2,000, nothing counts. All premium cards become hard to justify, right? I don't know what card issuer would do that because they're going to lose a lot of business. But even if it was the rotating category cards, if they required $1,000 a month to spend, no.
I do wonder if the other way would actually be more helpful. The old American Express everyday cards, where you got a kicker instead of punishing people, you do 30 transactions on your platinum, and all of a sudden it's not a 1x base, it's a 1.5x base. If they did something like that, I think companies would A, get much better press, and B, actually incentivize people to use the premium cards that tend to have better swipe fees.
Yeah. Part of the reason why the kicker dying was so weird to me was that like you American Express continues to make money hand over fist, right? And American Express is moving away from, I don't know, regular people or poor people who just happen to like American Express. But instituting that on the Platinum card would have made even more sense would have made the Platinum revision even better. Bringing back that 50% kicker on top of using the card 30, 40 times, they're going to encourage that's incentivizing you to use the card 30 or 40 times. I do think that a base multiplier increase, a bonus multiplier after using the card X number of times is a better incentive to customers and would be better at putting those cards front and center. Because putting a dollar figure on getting your points, or if they were even dumber, being able to move your points out would more likely kill your card than make it better for customers, because that's pretty customer hostile.
I'd actually like to push back for a second. I think
Sure.
that no, and I think you make a valid point, but I do think so. Two things. One, I think outside of this credit card community, most people, if they had to put all their spend on one particular brand of cards, whether it was the Delta Business Gold or Delta, 'cause I've seen so many Delta Gold cards in the last like 3 days. It's wild. And I'm like, I know most of you people are not flying Delta, but it's neither here nor there. But I think most people probably are just going to go forward with that because I think most people don't have a lot of credit cards. My wife is, as much as I've dragged her along in this process, is not a credit card person. She got her first credit card at 28. Before that, we were debit card and cash city. And I think the psychology behind, oh, I can get 1x points, or I can get a kicker. Somebody is going to find the psychology behind the marketing there to make people think that is a viable thing. And the moment that American Express does it, because likely they would probably be, I'm not insinuating anything, American Express, but if they're going to be a cutting edge in the market of doing something, it's probably going to be them first. And then everybody else will say, hey, that worked pretty well. Let's follow suit. The other thing that I'd like to push back on just a little bit is I think Amex loves our more economically challenged individuals within the country. And if you don't already, follow Lonnie and make sure that you join his membership, because he dropped a fantastic video about this on Monday, October 27th. Think about pay as you go, right? Or pay buy now, pay later, Klarna, everything else. Klarna just IPO'd, I think, probably a month ago. And as with most IPOs, they started high, they dropped. I would be baffled if Klarna's stock doesn't go up rapidly over the next like year and a half, 2 years. And that's because, and I'm not trying to politicize this statement, but there's just, no matter how we look at it, no matter what you believe, middle class is getting shrunken a little bit and has been for quite some time. And our economy is, while the market stock is doing well, inflation and everything else is hitting people and things are expensive. So buy now, pay later is the, and Lonnie, the way you worded it, I really enjoyed it. So by all means, feel free, if I'm misrepresenting you, chime in. But the business of being poor is lucrative for everyone that is not poor.
I didn't say it like that, but broke is a business.
Broke is a
Yeah.
business. There we go.
Broke is definitely a business, and yes, American Express is not going to overlook broke as a business. But the moves that they've been making over the last year or so, abandoning the everyday preferred, not bringing those cards back. Maybe they still are going to bring those cards back, but abandoning those cards, not really having a on-ramp into anything like beginner or new to credit or seemingly easy for those folks to get onto, to latch onto, to start their relationship with American Express before jumping straight to the platinum and jumping straight to the green card. And that's probably, and like folks will jump onto those cards, and folks will jump into those cards not knowing how credit cards work, not knowing how American Express operates, so that they can start utilizing broke, so that they can start doing broke and ignorant as a business, which is quite lucrative for them. Because, you know, if you miss that pay in full, you're going to get into some trouble. It used to be that if you missed that pay in full, and Amex has definitely changed, you know, the Amex of 40 years ago, you missed that pay in full date once, you're done. But now they will like incentivize you, that they're incentivized to keep you when you miss that pay in full, whether it's Planet, whether it's, you know, other tools. And I guess now the platinum, the green, the charge cards now are just that on ramp, and they don't need the sort of beginner friendly sort of cards to bring people in, to incentivize them to join American Express and start paying 34, 35, 36% interest when they have really bad credit. They can just bake that in now when they give you the charge card if you miss a payment. Possibly, because a lot of issuers, and it's not just American Express, right? Chase also will give you really high interest rates if your credit score is not particularly the greatest, or Wells will do it, Capital One will do it, everybody will do it. That's not a question. So I guess
Even if you have great credit, though.
Oh yeah,
Interest
even if you
rates
have
are high.
great credit, interest rates are high. Yeah, it's come step on this landmine. We dare you.
Because I've got an 810 22 and a 805, and I don't think I have a card lower than 20% right now.
I can't think of any I have lower than 20. Maybe my Freedom Unlimited, because it used to be Slate Edge.
Slate.
Yeah. But even then, I don't know if I did hit like that 2% reduction before I think I did do the 2%. I did get a 2% reduction around the year mark before I turned it into a Freedom Unlimited, but like whatever. So yeah, every issuer is going to give you the landmine of death of pay interest once, see how much you're going to pay. And it's a lot. So it's not just American Express that's in the business of broke his business. Everybody has broke his business. It's just a question of who exercises it more. And maybe it's American. I don't know how much American Express gets in interest, but I know that American Express probably gets more in interest than some of the other big players.
I think their last earning call was somewhere around like 13 billion.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just in made up money land at this point.
Oh yeah, we will. That's a for the average American person, not even American in the world. That is a imaginary number. I think it would take something like 1,000 years if you counted to a billion out loud.
Sounds about right. Yeah. So going back to the question at hand from Jason, if they move toward requiring certain levels of spend per statement period, most of your cards are going to become harder and harder to justify, obviously. I think those premium cards would be the hardest just because a lot of people who don't use the premium cards as their everyday day in and day out cards, talking more maximizers, talking the churning community, talking the folks who will watch this podcast, will have a significantly harder time maintaining those premium cards and maintaining more than one of those premium cards than most others, because not many people are going to put all their spend on a platinum card willingly. Not many people are going to put all their spend on a Sapphire Reserve willingly. Not many people are going to put all their spend on a City Strata Elite, although you'll get 1.5 times points per dollar when you do. So I think those premium cards become the hardest to justify, then the easiest. I don't know. If it requires a spend requirement, I don't know what would be easiest. But yeah. So roundabout way of saying it all just depends. So thanks, Jason. Thanks, Little. We'll move to our next question. It comes from JFO1833, who asks, not counting changes that have already been announced, what do you think will be the next major nerf to come in the points and miles space? Looking for speculation station here. RJ, I will throw to you first on this one.
Direct bookings being higher points on premium credit cards. So the platinum card right now earns 5x direct with flights. Have it earn 5x in the portal, not have it earn 5x if I go to delta.com and book. I can see like the Amexes and the Chases and it doesn't affect the Venture X as much. The City Strata Elites, right? Like right now they just have higher multipliers. Mostly Amex doesn't. They have higher multipliers for going into the portal. I can see in the next 5 years slowly them phase out the direct and go with the portal for the high-end cards. You keep all of your benefits, still get into lounges, all of that, but not have the direct bookings. Or for something like Amex specifically, whatever your airline is, I have Delta selected as my airline. Shock to no one. I have Delta as my airline. I can earn 5x on Delta, but I can't anywhere else. So I would have to go through the portal for everything. I could see something like that as well. But I don't know. I think that it's difficult to figure out just how they're going to screw us, but we all know they're going to screw us.
I will say, if they did that announcement where only your selected airline gets 5x outside of the portal, they will still be applauded across the land.
You're just jealous that nobody's on Amex's level, Matt.
I'm amazed that Bernaysian tactics still work. I'm really not. Anyway, Lonnie, not counting what's already been announced, what do you think will be the next major nerf to come to the points of mile space?
Well, you should have came to me first because RJ stole my answer. Literally what I have wrote down. So I wrote down two things. One of them she did not mention, and I said they're going to nerf dining. We are finally going to see dining nerfed, like just gone. It's going to go down to 1x or it's just gone. About time. We only need one or two cards out there of dining, folks. Every single card doesn't need a dining bonus category. But my other answer, the one that RJ did steal, shocker, bonus categories going into the travel portal. Specifically, just in her example, like it's basically like a travel card. You're gonna get 1x on everything. So if you want your 3x, 4x, 5x on flight, hotel, any of that, you only get it from using said card's travel portal. I see that coming sooner rather than later. But at the same time, I also see that I know I just said 3, 4, 5x. I can actually see that go a lot higher. CSR just said 8x in their travel portal. I can see Amex do the exact same thing. Like instead of 5, let's double it. We'll give you 10x when you use the Amex travel portal, book your flight or hotel. Maybe a kicker. I'm trying to enhance RJ's answer now. Maybe a kicker if it's my selected airline. So I'll get 15 if it's Delta, because Delta's my selected airline. Shocker to everyone, I know. Facetious, being sarcasm at its best here. It's United. But yeah, I could get 15x if I do United. And I honestly think, not to call out my members only video, I can see that as a win in a couple of years. Like the banks need us to use their cards in multiple ways. We already know the Platinum doesn't have a reason to use it unless you're trying to get a credit or a coupon in some way, shape, or form. I think as a travel card, this actually enhances said travel. So this could actually make that card better and enhance people to actually swipe it more often for what it's intended for. Well,
Okay.
select the card on the drop down because you don't need to swipe it. It's a digital card. It's a subscription.
Yeah.
Real quick anecdote. I actually needed to return something at Target that I bought on my MX Platinum because I have an offer where you hit X dollars and you'll get 3x the amount of points if you hit that spin requirement right now. And lo and behold, you're actually supposed to have your physical card when you make a return at Target. I was standing in line and I realized I don't have my MX Platinum on me. I never have my MX Platinum on me. But luckily enough, a lady in front of me, she said she used tap and pay and they just allowed her to tap and pay her phone again. I'm like, all right, so if I don't get to do it, it's discrimination. So I was safe.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay.
Back to our regularly scheduled program.
There we go.
That's only my one tangent so far, RJ. That and black garlic. All right, 2 tangents.
That's fair. No, the tangents are already out of control.
We started
that
off
then.
the tangent.
Yes. Craig, not counting changes that have already been announced, what's the next major nerf?
I was going to say something until I saw a video from a YouTuber that I don't normally watch very much anymore. But upgrade offers. So I think a few years from now, upgrade offers will probably go the way of the dodo, meaning that people will overuse them and they will go into extinction. But Chase is now offering upgrade offers from the CSP to the CSR, 50,000 points. 2 very different cards. So if you are a CSP user, is 50,000 points really worth going to the CSR if that doesn't fit your lifestyle? Probably not. For somebody like me, I've already paid my CSR annual fee for the year, so it doesn't matter. But hey, I'll take 50,000 Hyatt points or 50,000 United points. That's a pretty good deal for stuff I was already going to use or do. But no, I think that overall upgrade offers, Amex being the most well known of those within the space. But if again, Chase is starting to do those, US Bank, I know some people have had not necessarily upgrade offers, but offers where they can upgrade without an annual fee, which again, if you can move your way into a higher tier card for free, seems like a pretty good deal for me. But yeah, I think upgrade offers are probably the thing that I can see fleeting here in the next few years.
Yeah, it feels like once Chase gets into it, that's kind of the it's over phase of things. Did that particular YouTuber have it on like background or have it on lock from a source that it's going to be 50,000 points? Because all I saw in terms of like Reddit and then, another creator needing to algo push this one line on Reddit was upgrade offers are coming, more to come.
Yeah, yeah, we both know who I'm talking about, but for continuity's sake and for kindness, I won't say their name. But yes, I agree with you for this overall take there. Uh, Regardless to say, Chase, despite Amex and Apple being where I think they're aligned from a marketing standpoint, I think Chase's conservatism is more aligned with Apple's production because, and as an Apple user, don't get me wrong, I love my 3-year-old benefits. They're fantastic. I don't care that the Google Buds or the Samsung Pixel Buds, whatever they're called, have had translation for the last 3 years. They're fancy now because Apple has them. And if you don't have AirPods, oh, ew, that's gross on you. I smile as two of us wear AirPods Max right now. But yeah, by the time Chase rolls something out, it's because it's been tested, it's proven, it's probably safe to do in small quantities conservatively based on how we want to do it. And that's the way Apple rolls out most things. The reason we've had Siri for God knows how many years after Siri should have gone to her retirement home or his retirement home, depending on the voice you go. Or actually,
It's
it's a non-binary Android. It is a ethereal being. It is a thing. It has no gender.
and there goes a portion of our audience.
Yeah. It guys, it's a goddamn disembodied voice. It literally, it physically cannot have a gender. Just saying.
Yes.
But neither here nor there. RJ, cut me out.
So, what will last longer? Upgrade offers or retention offers?
Upgrade offers.
Retention.
Ooh, I like when we have a split panel.
I think there will come a point because really there's only US Bank does retention offers in the form of here's 10,000 points, right? There will come a point where most banks, and I will exclude Amex from this, but most banks will just see it as they're willing to cut their losses if all you do every year is ask for a retention offer, as opposed to you're going to keep your account, but you're going to do the silly downgrade to the card just below it. And we'll offer you an upgrade offer to go back to your big annual fee because we want to collect your fee. That is going to be better overall for that's better overall for the bank than please put another $2,000 on this card before you put it back in the drawer.
Yeah, I can see that. I think the retention offers, though, like they want people to stay. So I get what Lonnie's saying. So it'll be interesting. I do think those two are in danger because they're the easiest to cut for people who are gaming, and the hardest hit are the people who are gaming the system. Most people who have credit cards don't actually know that they exist.
Yeah.
I will say it is far more expensive to acquire a new customer or acquire business that is lost than it is just to keep you. So I can see the value of a retention offer. However, I think at a certain point, to your point, RJ and Matt, is $2,000 spent on a platinum card with a prorated fee worthwhile, right? So I think it just really truly depends on what's the impacting the bottom line the most for those issuers. But yeah, I can see the merit in both.
They're both technically retention
Oh yeah.
offers. They're keeping your account regardless, right? It's the Dangus who is saying, I need a 50,000 point, spend as little as possible offer in order to maintain this account, or I'm going to walk away. Bank won't need you at that point because you're going to come back. You're inevitably going to come back at some point. Whereas, I want to, the annual fee is just too much. I don't want to, deal with the annual fee. I've done this. Let me go down to this other card. Then they're going to give you basically the same fee to go back to that card, the same structure reward just to go back to that card anyway.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of people do upgrade because they go to their card to check their balance and they say, hey, I have an upgrade offer. Well, if I have an upgrade offer, this must be a better card, so I'm going to upgrade. I've had 4 people in the last 6 months who do not understand credit cards at all tell me they logged in to pay their bill because they don't set up autopay and have upgraded cards to cards that are less useful for them because they thought having an upgrade offer was cool.
Yeah. Their retention offer is to keep the bigger gamers. Ooh, how do more Rove miles just hit?
Matt, we're not talking about Rove yet.
Sorry. I just got another 1,500 points. Anyway. Yeah, anyway. Both of those could work. Let me minimize this window before I get in trouble.
Matt's very excited about Rove.
So excited. Okay. Not counting changes that have already been announced, what do you think will be the next major nerf? One, I think retention offers will definitely be one of those. Retention offers just going the way of the Tasmanian tiger will certainly be one. I also, going back to what Lonnie said, I think there's going to be a play at some point where banks are going to partner with certain issuers for elevated multipliers with those issuers and lock them into that. Amex will be the 3x Walmart company. Either Walmart will give you 3x on their specific card, or Amex locks in Walmart as a 3x company. And everything at Walmart, regardless of what Walmart it is, will be 3x on Amex, right? Chase might be able to grab, I don't know, the mom and pop diner around the street, around the corner, where they lock in like, all your food is going to come through DoorDash no matter what, because we have a contract with DoorDash and DoorDash is going to be 3x. Like, we gave up 3x dining in general. We want all your dining spend done through DoorDash now. Instead of 3x, we're going to make it 5x because we're not giving you 3x points on your general dining anymore. I think you could see something where the issuers like sign whatever brands they can to whatever elevated multiplier with that brand specifically. So you could see, I don't know, Capital One land 4x at Target all the time. So now instead of getting a store branded card, the bank is getting that cut to the tune of a higher percentage. And US Bank is going to get screwed by all of this no matter what, because they don't know what they're doing now. But they sort of have the blueprint with the shopper cash. Like, other issuers are going to could look at the shopper cash and just say, why don't we just cut a deal where we give 6% at Target and no other card can get 6% at Target, but all of our cards can get 6% at Target. I think that might be something you could see in the points and mile space. Other things would be Chase is supposed to be rolling out a deal with Coinbase where like you can use your ultimate rewards for cryptocurrency. You could see that ruining things to some degree, and I don't know how that's going to happen, but crypto doesn't seem to be beneficial. So crypto getting into the points and miles game in some form or fashion, probably not a good thing. Just more made up money, going after more made up money on top of other made up money, and you can't draw a loan against any of it. Or no, wait, you probably can. That's terrifying. Anyway, thanks, JFO. Our next question comes from AP, who says, we've heard at Dugar's Report's beautiful voice a few times for primarily video openings. If he was so kind to sing an intro for Stack Your Points, getting its 1,000th follower in 3 months, what song would you want him to sing? Lonnie, I'll throw to you on this one.
Marvin Gaye, Sexual Healing.
Yeah, I don't think we can accept any other answers at this point. Yeah, I think, nope, we just lock it in. That's it. That's the one.
That is a truly inspired answer.
I also know how uncomfortable Duros would be. That one.
That's my answer. That's all I
All
got.
right.
It's
Back to the
inspired.
program.
Back to the program. Back to the program. All right. Craig, you got anything to top that?
No, but I would love to see Du Ross dressed up as Big Luther singing Never Too Much, but I feel like Sexual Healing tops that.
I feel like it might. I feel like it might.
More importantly, I
what?
need to know if Du Ross knows who Luther is.
I'm certain
Let me
he
know in the
does.
comments below. There's a reason I'm asking Du Ross.
Okay. Yes. Let me just say, I don't know if I could pick a song. I could. No, I don't. RJ, what you got?
Destiny's Child, Bills. I needed something money and or credit card themed for the intro for this program, and I think it would be amusing. Plus, it's a good call and response, which I think it'd be great.
There's that. I think I'm going to go with the most outside of Duraz's wheelhouse, and
I think Destiny's Child and Marvin Gaye are slightly outside of his usual singing range.
singing range probably yes. I'm just going outside of his musical range. Oh no, Destiny's Child's out there. It'd be really funny to see Duras try singing like British new wave. So anything along the lines of Flock of Seagulls, I Ran, or Tears for Fears, Mad World would be funny. Especially the up-tempo version of Mad World, not the Gary Jules slowed down version. Although I think the Gary Jules slowed. Now I want to take. Anyway, never mind. I'm just thinking Kurt Smith vocals over the slower. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, so there you go. Lonnie wins this round, honestly. Like, there's no topping that. Just the surety in that one was fantastic. All right, next. Thanks, AP. This took a left turn for you, AP. That is all I can say. We're going to move to our next question, which is from Double Animal Fries. Not a follow-up question, but this is a freestanding question of how do you pass the time on a flight? RJ.
Apple. Apple. I have an iPhone. I have an iPad. I have a MacBook. I have Apple headphones of several flavors and varieties. I'm on some version of that. I don't often pay for Wi-Fi, but I get it free if the plane has the free Wi-Fi. So phone, iPad, Mac, depends on what mood I'm in, but one version of another or of an Apple device. I'll download books and read. I have a Kindle. I enjoy reading on the Kindle more than anything else. I do not enjoy having to remember to bring the Kindle versus my phone or my iPad or my laptop. So a lot of times I just choose one of those devices. But my answer is ultimately just Apple.
One way you could probably remember the Kindle is on the back of the Kindle, put a piece of blue tape on it and just write anchor, and you might remember to pack it.
This is not untrue. I have no other comment at this time.
Y'all like to call me out. I remember.
I have very specific and particular wants and desires in my electronics, and Anchor and Apple satisfies most of my requirements. Leave me alone.
Sir, you're going to be applying for another car on Thursday.
Math? Matthew? No. I have enough.
No, I'm getting denied, so you got to carry the torch. Anyway, Craig, how do you pass the time on the flight?
Similar to RJ, I have many Apple devices, but it depends on one of three situations. If it is for work, I'm 9 times out of 10 working. It also depends on how late that flight is, or if I have a meeting in the morning. I so love my Apple devices, but I also realize that Apple is an incomplete ecosystem. I just got the creamiest, just funkiest portable mechanical keyboard. It is the I'm not giving away free marketing, but if you want to know about my new keyboard, ask me in the Discord. Sensational. I love it. But so I love the typing sensation there. So if I'm working, there we go. If this is for personal use, I have gotten back into playing chess. So I'm probably on my iPad playing a game of chess now, and at the same time listening to an audiobook, just trying to decompress my brain from so much social media. Just looking for ways to both stimulate the mind, but also relax it from the over information blast that is social media. And also for the mind numbingness, actually, I'm also, you know what? This is mind sharpening as well. I play Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. You got to be up on that. You got to be ready for the anti-meta decks. It will get you. And then the most confounding situation, I have a tiny human. As you will have seen, I went off camera for a quick moment because my tiny human ran up and touched me, and I was absolutely terrified. So if I am not keeping them occupied, they're probably asleep. Or because I'm more of an iPad baby than my human, because I've tried. I've genuinely tried to give them a tablet. They say, no thanks. Coloring book, awesome. But Lord forbid I put an iPad with Bluey up. It's just like, nah, don't want that, Dad. So it's probably spent entertaining a tiny human when it's my shift to entertain.
There you go. Getting back into chess is cool. I know nothing on the Yu-Gi-Oh side of things. I am absolutely useless there.
Fun fact, it was uncool to play Yu-Gi-Oh when I was in high school and in grade school. So I hid my nerdish side to let people think that I was a jock and I played football. But in reality, I'm the biggest dweeb that you've ever met. And now as an adult, I can say that because it's cool and I have money. What are you going to do? I have a job. Look at me, I'm employed gainfully. I can spend money on Yu-Gi-Oh cards virtually.
I was in all the wrong social settings because I should have been able to get I should have been able to exploit Magic the Gathering for cool factor, but and nerd cool factor, and like I missed it. And then like when I realized I missed it, I was in my 30s. So yeah. Yeah. But the people who I played Magic the Gathering against, like they built artifact decks because they said everything after this generation sucks. And those artifact decks were
Toxicity as its
ridiculous.
finest. I love it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, toxic fandom for the win. Lonnie, how are you passing time on the airplane?
My first question is back to Craig. Did you just say you take a mechanical keyboard on an airplane?
I wasn't going to ask, but I'm pretty sure it's a Logitech MX keys.
Yeah, I don't use the mechanical keyboard on the plane. Just to be very clear, if I'm flying and working, I'm just using
Okay.
my laptop. I'm not that much of a sociopath. Also, don't know if y'all know this. I'm big as hell. There's not enough space for that. I'm not
Although,
that much of a monster.
now that I think about it, green switches, Gateron green switches, which to me are the loudest keys known to man, and I love them, would be perfect on an airplane to deal with all the other stupid.
No, I'm not that much of a monster. I have red switches, but listen to that.
Red?
Is it a Keytron?
Really red?
It's either a Logitech, a Keychron, or a.
It's a Newfie.
I was going to say Newfie, because Newfie made the mechanical keyboards like specifically for iPads. Yeah.
Anyway, very similar to my buddy Craig over there. I keep it simple. I do one of these three things. I am either watching a movie, I am sleeping, or I am playing with my son. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. There might be an asterisk in there, and that is I am going to the bathroom and then back to my chair. But that is literally about it. I don't care if it's a 16-hour flight. I am doing one of those three things. That is about it.
That's fair. That's fair. Let me just say, I have many leather-bound books, and my seats smell of mahogany on the plane. So I'm just sitting there being awesome. No, I'm kidding. How do I
I
pass it
would
on the
really
plane?
love just an image of Matt on a plane, like the old school ones, where he's got like a pipe and a smoking jacket in first class, just reading like a leather-bound book, and just there's something about the idea of that tickles me today.
I was gonna ask why his seat smells like mahogany, but he's probably because he ate the Haribo green gummy bears.
No, that's a completely different smell. Thank you very much. Especially if they're the sugar-free green ones.
Oh, if you know, people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not mahogany. I'll tell you that much. It's not good. That is a disaster. No, flights with Tiny Human have not been particularly many, but I am on Tiny Human duty on the plane, on flights with Tiny Human, making sure that they're good. They generally are. My first experiences with them on a plane, they had no problems whatsoever. They loved it. So that was sweet. If I am not traveling with Tiny Human, I am probably just going to be browsing on my phone, whether it is, let me pull up YouTube, let me rewatch The West Wing for the 1000th time. Let me rewatch Psych. Let me veg out and have something to look at that I know, that I'm comfortable with, that, I can just recite the dialogue in my sleep if I so chose. My flights are not particularly long enough for me to be able to catch any sleep, so that's unfortunate. But if you have the ability to sleep on a plane, go for it. I, you know, I'm very ADD on my phone, so it will be, I'll watch an episode or two of something, and from there, it's let me check Twitter, let me check, or well, back when Twitter was cool, let me check Twitter, let me hop on Discord, let me go through 3 or 4 other things with Wi-Fi. Okay, I've done that. I'm good. I got nothing else to do. Let me now just stare at the map, because the map is one of the weirdest, most relaxing things on the in-flight entertainment screen, when you're just watching how fast you're going, how many states you're flying over, the vast emptiness of the ocean when you're out over the vast emptiness of the ocean. Not, telling yourself, what happens if we just plummeted from 35,000 feet? Nothing? Cool. Yeah. So I let my brain do terrible things. And then we land.
Matt, I have one thing to say to you. It's very important. Andrew Jackson in the main foyer of the White House had a big block of cheese.
No, at least it's early Nick Offerman.
That is one of the best speeches in the West Wing.
Yes, and the only reaction is to dismiss it.
And get a wheat thin the size of Lake Tahoe.
Yes, that too. I love Josh. Thanks, Bubble. As always, I seem to take the answers and just not helpful. Anyway, our last question comes from benevolent contrarian. Yeesh. Which co-branded business card do you think is missing a personal card sibling the most? They're also saying, also, just because they have a business card and a personal card with the same name doesn't make them siblings. He's talking specifically about the American Express Business Gold versus the normal gold card, because the normal gold card has set categories, whereas the business gold will give you 4 times points on your top 2 earning categories. So, is there a co-branded business card, or I guess business card, that you think is missing a personal card sibling the most? We will turn to Lonnie on this one first.
I knew I was going to get hit up first on this one.
Yeah, I'm not winning today.
Yeah, I am. I don't really have a good answer here. I can't. I pre-vetted the question. I've really been thinking about this since before we started recording the episode. Can't think of one. Not a single one. If anything, maybe the Marriott business card, but I don't like that answer because it instantly starts overlapping with the personal side of when it comes to perks, benefits, status and all that other stuff. So that's not a great answer. Everything else would be like United is basically 1-to-1, so I'm in the exact same boat when it comes to those. Hilton is, I know they only have one, the same way the Marriott only has one. I don't pay attention to Hyatt enough. I just don't really have a great answer here. But the closest thing I can think of would be the Marriott business card. Take the overlap out of the way, but the elite night credits, that's the only thing I could lean into when I thought about this question.
That's fair. RJ.
I think that the Hilton business card is good. It's nice, 5X, super simple, gold status, all that. But not surpass and not aspire. Like, it's so boring, and the personal ones are so good that it would be nice for there to be like an aspire, or at least have 2, right? Even if it's 5X, 12X, or make it 14X, give it diamond status and just a higher interface. There are ways to do it, right? There are ways to at least give it a little more of a sibling vibe. So I think the Hilton cards could use a bifurcation on the business side.
It's fair. Craig?
RJ stole mine, so I will give you my backup answer. And it is simple, yet
She does that a lot, by the way.
it's just thieving. The Blue Business Plus. Amex just needs a straight up flat 2x earning card and a no annual fee card that earns MR points on the personal side, so people can have some sort of consumer protections and not have to have a business for a business card. You could even take it down to 25,000 a year for spending limit.
Yeah. I would like Chase flat 2% earning business personal card. So not the Ink Premier and Sucky, but that'd be cool. There's not a ton of co-branded cards on the business side that are missing a personal card sibling. With Chase, there are plenty of personal cards that are missing co-branded business cards. I'm surprised that there's no Aeroplan card. I'm surprised that there's no business versions of the Instacart or DoorDash cards, since DoorDash and Instacart are looking to get more into business spend, especially with the deals that Instacart's doing with the on the ink side, where you're getting $20 credits every month, which I haven't used. And then when it comes to business cards that are missing a personal card sibling, I do think that the spend your top two categories idea is worth pursuing, like the MX Business Gold. I do think that I do think personal cards that you make a purchase above a certain amount should get like a mini kicker. The the MX Business Platinum gives you 2%, 2x, right? On purchases, I think it's purchases over $5,000. If you make a purchase over $5,000, it's 2x. Like something like that would be interesting for sure. So I think there's features of business cards that could be brought over to the personal side. A direct co-branded card that's missing a personal sibling. I don't know about the Marriott business card. Like they're looking to potentially add like a business bevy, which gross, and then a business brilliant, which might be possible. And then on the Hilton side, like just give us a business version of the Aspire, and people would be very happy. You can keep devaluing Hilton. Jeez, I cannot speak this evening. Until the cows come home, if people can get like their free nights on their business card. So yeah, there's not a whole lot else to work with because the Venture X business is a charge card, and nobody really necessarily wants a personal charge card from Capital One. Capital One doesn't really do co-branded cards that well, except they have all of the department stores like Menards and Neiman Marcus and Bergdorf Gour, you know what I'm talking about. It's weird that they have all those cards, but like they don't make a good co-branded card at all. So that's interesting. Like their best co-branded card is the BJ's card, and that's really only available in areas that have BJ's wholesale clubs, which is not everywhere. Yeah, there's not a whole lot else that I can think of. The Huntington voice rewards cards are better on the business side, but like they have the exact same categories. So yeah, I got nothing. I think there's features from business cards that could work on personal, like the personal multiplier gain when you make a big enough purchase on a personal card. I think that would be killer on the MX side. So yeah, that's all I can really think of. So thanks, Benevolent Contrarian. That'll do it for our questions. As always, you can utilize the Discord for those, which you can hit our Discord through stackyourpoints.com. To check us out and join our Discord, go to stackyourpoints.com. That's got links to Lonnie's channel, my channel, our memberships. Join our memberships if you'd like. I've got more membership stuff coming. Lonnie drops membership videos every Monday. I'm not Lonnie. I don't do that. I apologize. But we also want to shout out our silver and diamond members. We've got a couple of new silver members this week, including your boy Dewey, Mark Cornelius Lau, Relatively Maxwell, and Dem. Our diamond members, as always, are Rex Bleen, Rupert Pond, Double Animal Fries, AP, Keith, and Mitch528. We appreciate everyone for watching every week. We'll be back on Thursday for the live at 8:30 p.m. Probably RJ and me, maybe Craig. We'll see what happens. But talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.